Hey everybody, we're back today with a fig related video, and we're actually on our patio here where we have several potted figs, some Malta Black, Italian 258, Long Dute, and next to that we have Verdolino, which we can talk just briefly a little bit about Verdolino, and then we're going to get into a taste test of this fruit just because I think I have one that is worthy. The first one that we tried off of this, the first main crop, we weren't impressed with the Breba, it was bland, but the first main crop fig looked a lot like this one where it was dripping honey from the eye there, and it had some nice softness to it, it was drooping down. This one's looking a lot like that one, and that first one tasted a lot like watermelon to us. Somewhat like a fresh / artificial watermelon flavor, but it was very melon-like, very sweet and tasty. And so I think this is going to be another good one. We had a couple in between that didn't taste quite as good. They were still nice and light and sweet, but they weren't amazing. And I don't know if it's just because it's a young tree, but so far fruit quality has been somewhat inconsistent, but we've gotten some really good ones. And the really good ones tend to look like this, whereas the not so good ones didn't have that honey dripping. So I wonder if that's just a telltale sign here for the sugar content of the fruit. But as you can see here, Verdolino has kind of more like spade-shaped leaves here. Very interesting and quite different from some of the other fig leaves here. And we got an air layer on that now, but this specific tree was actually grafted onto Atriano down here. So you can see that's the graft point, and then from there, this has sprouted up over the past year. And we've gotten lots of tasty fruit. This is our last one hanging on, and then we're gonna prune this thing and let it grow some more, get some more structure for next year. But we can go ahead now and pick this fruit. Get that right there. All right. And there's our little fruit. So there was still a little bit of white latex at the joint, but none on the fruit itself. So I have a feeling this will be very good. I did find the first one that we picked, I mean, we tend not to let our figs get super overripe, where they start to get really wrinkly and saggy. We like them maybe just as they're turning ripe, or maybe slightly before that. We find it's the right combination of texture and flavor for us. But there we go, we're gonna weigh this guy and let you guys know what we think of the taste. All right, so now we're back inside, and we're gonna take a look at this fig here. Weigh it on the scale, slice it open and see what it's looking like inside, and then we'll give it a quick taste test and see if it has that watermelon flavor like we got on that very first good main crop fig that we tried. So we'll just turn this on. And there we go. So we'll set that to grams here. And that's looking like 18 grams. So it's a relatively small fig, kind of similar to Chicago Hardy, at least a lot of the ones that we've gotten here. Maybe slightly smaller than that though. And now we can just cut this in half. Maybe we'll go this way. All right. So you can see there, this looks really perfect. Nice and syrupy inside. It kind of has like a peachy color to it. But this is what a lot of them have looked like regardless if they've tasted good or not. They really just have a nice color, and they always have tended to look nice and syrupy inside, even if they're like slightly underripe, which is nice. But we care about the flavor here, so we'll just give this a quick taste test, and I'll let you know what we think of this last main crop we have here. And there's the fruit up close a little bit more. So very pretty fig, a nice green fig. Not quite Adriatic, but coloring actually kind of reminds me of Atriano a little bit, but shrunken down and a little stronger in color. Atriano tends to fluctuate depending on the weather and temperatures. All right, and that's a really good fig. So what I can say about the flavor today is it does have that light watermelon taste to it. It's still not as strong as that first one I got. Again, the taste does tend to vary a little bit, but I do taste it lightly in the background and a little bit more in the aftertaste. But primarily it has like a sweet fig taste, kind of similar to Celeste, perhaps a little less berry and slightly less sweet than Celeste, but again, a little bit more watermelon flavor. So it's a very interesting fig, nice light fig. Some things I can say about it too is our patio doesn't get a whole lot of sun throughout the day. It gets plenty of natural light, but we really only get sun the last, I don't know, 3-4 hours of the day. And even then it's not always direct too. We're just not in the greatest spot for growing figs on our patio specifically. So we've still ripened some pretty good figs on Verdolino, and it's set a good amount of fruit despite being relatively shaded throughout the day. It doesn't get a whole lot of direct sunlight, and there's also several other plants that are blocking some of the sunlight to it. So for the conditions that it's in, it's actually produced some really nice fruit and a good quantity of fruit too on a relatively young plant. So this may be a variety that we can recommend for people who don't have full sun all day in their gardens or the space where they're planning on planting this fig. But it's a very interesting one, has a lot of good qualities. It holds up to the rain and humidity well, and it definitely benefits from extra heat and sun to enhance that flavor. So that's pretty much all we have to say about Verdolino. It's a relatively rare fig, but prices are going down and it is becoming more available. And this is one that we plan on distributing as well. I think it's good enough to share with you guys, and I hope you find it interesting too. So take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.